Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Spanning the Need. Tonight, we're going to talk about a true gentleman and a community volunteer. He has done so much for the community and is also on the Hope Foundation board of the Mahoning Valley. Rey Esparra. Ray, glad of you to join us.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
I know, I know we've been trying to schedule this for quite a while.
It's been a while. It's been
Yeah,
very hectic and very busy, so I'm just honored that we got to lock this in.
yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about everything. And Ray, you're really involved in the community. You've really done a lot. Um, but maybe people don't know kind of your background and where you come from. So talk about like your life, your journey to kind of what really where you are today.
Okay. Well, I'm actually one of 10. Uh, yes, eight sisters, one brother, and two very loving parents who dedicated their life to serving their children, right? And very intimate in the church, in the community, volunteering. So, they set the foundation for us. And that was an easy one to follow because they were great examples, great mentors to all their children. And they are now proud grandparents and great grandparents of 51 grandkids.
Wait,
So
51?
51. I'm going to say at the last count. So there was, I think, 35 grandkids and 16 great grandkids.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
So
continue. Go ahead. Okay,
yeah.
take a
So
breath. Let me
you
hold on.
know.
Let me take a drink. It's water.
So that's where when you talked about earlier volunteering and being in the community and trying to give back. Like I said, those were great mentors for the entire family, and quite honestly, most of the family is either in the ministry, Eucharistic ministry, in the ministry, lectors, serving the church. We've done a lot with the church, but not only in the church, in the community as a whole. So, that's what led me to the Hope Foundation, because of that. And we had some networked individuals from church who mentioned the Hope Foundation, and that was right down my alley because of, you know, when you're raised with 10 kids and you got 51 nephews and nieces, there's something special about that. And so that was a very appealing to me, and I'm honored to be, able to serve on the board and be part of this project.
Well, we loved having you, and we continue to love having you in the future.
That's all. Hint, hint.
Another sub.
Hint, hint.
We talk a lot about like you had eight sisters and you had your brother Pete and who played in a charity basketball game that the Hope Foundation um, put together. And what did your family values really help you focus on when it came to giving back to the community?
You know what? We were always united. We were always united as a family, even to this day. And my brother's one of my idols. I look up to him. I don't tell him that too often because I don't want him, his head to get any bigger than what it is right now. But at the end of the day, he truly is. He's truly my idol, and I've always tried to emulate him in what he did. And he was a Eucharistic minister when Eucharistic ministers first started years and years and years ago. He served our country, following the footsteps of my dad. Unfortunately, due to an accident, I could not join the service. So that's one of my regrets in life, is that I didn't serve my country, and I so wanted to. So, when I do see veterans, and I say thank you every time I see one. Doesn't matter who,
Hmm.
any veteran I see, I say thank you, because you know what, it is an honor to live in this country. And at the end of the day, I know what my dad went through. I know what my brother went through, and unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. All things happen for a reason. But we can serve in other ways, right? And that is serving your community, giving back to the community, um, and making sure you represent, just like they did the country, you represent your community equally as well. And my sisters and like I said, my brothers, just like my parents, have always been there to mentor us and to do that. And they're examples. So you lead by example, and every single one of them leads by example, because I don't think there's one of them that doesn't volunteer, has been in some type of a nonprofit program, board, whatever that might be. They've been, again, great examples for me. And so you just hope that you can carry the torch just a little bit, right? We can carry that torch that they did for all those years.
Let me ask you this: out of the 10 children, what were you in it? Were you like kind of like the middle, or were you kind of like the last?
I was number 6.
Number
But
six.
if you want to look at it, I was right in the middle of the girls, 4 older, 4 younger. So I do a mean French braid. Um, there's nothing about a woman that you can't tell me that I don't already know. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm a great confidant for all my sisters and all their
As
friends.
as everyone knows now, we have a baby girl coming, so I'll be
Congratulations.
I'll be talking. We'll be talking as fathers, because
No,
you have
absolutely.
you
With
have 2 daughters, 3 daughters of your own,
Yep,
and I know they'd love to have fun with you and just have grandkids. And how many grandkids do you have?
I got 5 grandkids. So
Wow.
ironically, as story goes, 8 sisters, right? And then I had 3 daughters, my wife. We had a female dog at home. So I kind of figured, it's God's plan that, I'm going to be raised around women, because at the end of the day, just like my dad, you get humbled by it. And so he gives you the strength in which to endure. No offense there. And then along came my princess, Aviana. So she was my first grandchild. And then being a girl, I just said, okay, I'm just throwing in the towel. And it is what it is. So I'm just going to be centered and around women for the rest of my life. And this is a true story. My daughter's on the dance floor during her wedding, my oldest, Maria, and we're doing the father-daughter dance. She pulls away from me and she does one of these. And I says, "You okay?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I got you, Dad." And I go, "Okay, you got what?" And she says, "I got you." I said, "But what is it?" She goes, "I'm going to give you your boys." On the night of her wedding, she tells me prophetically that, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to give you your boys." And she's given me 3 grandsons. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't expect. You're like, okay, what's going on here?
Yep. And then my youngest daughter, Veronica. So Christina,
Hmm.
the oldest is Maria, 3 boys. Christina, my princess Aviana, and then my youngest Veronica also gave me a grandson. It is so now 4 grandsons and 1 granddaughter.
Got a basketball lineup if they all play
Oh,
basketball.
oh, I got a basketball court in the back waiting for him. So
We'll get into that. Don't you worry. So, Ray, you've been working for a long time, and I don't think any of us have seen this type of pandemic over the last year and a half. Has the pandemic changed you in any way?
you know what? Oh, absolutely. Because here's what I'll tell you. I'm getting ready to retire this Friday after 34 years at GBS Computers, and blessed by, to say the least, is blessed that I've been able to work for 34 years, blessed to be able to same industry and the same company for those 34 years. So it speaks, volumes about the company and the people there at the company. So at the end of the day, the other thing that it allowed me to do was to not only Tony, I tried to live my life 2 ways: spiritual and business, right? Those two, and those two always coexisted. And I always said to myself, if I get into this environment, then those two have to be able to coexist. And too often you hear, "Don't mix politics and religion when you're at work," right? And I said, okay, I won't mix politics. But if I can't stand up for my faith and understand who, for my clients to understand who I was, then I don't want to be there. And very blessed that, at GBS, it afforded me that opportunity to be able to witness to people across, I probably visited 45 states. And in my last 5 weeks that I've been kind of doing a farewell tour with my clients.
Farewell to what are you
Pretty much. That's what it's
doing?
been.
Doing my farewell tour, state to state.
That's it. But at the end of it, it was very gratifying in those last 5 weeks. Like I just finished up last week. That was my last gig out in the field, and it was just rewarding, Tony, to hear some of the feedback from my clients, spiritual, not business, but spiritual feedback on, you don't realize the impact you made until it circles back and they tell you, right? And I could be here for hours to tell you what's gone down, but it was very, very humbling for me that you realize in those 34 years you did impact people, not only from the business perspective, but more importantly from the spiritual perspective. And I don't want to make this all about spirituality, Tony, but it's how I live my life. And so when you ask me the question regarding COVID, I believe all things happen for a reason. And during that time, during the shutdown, it didn't afford us the opportunity to go out and visit our clients. I'll tell you, I worked harder in the last year than I have because there's no interruptions when you're at home. And so, you come back from vacation, you're in the office, everybody wants to know about your vacation, right? Or they want to tell you about their vacation. Hey, you have 5 minutes, let me come sit in. You don't have that at home. So you're constantly, you're on the call, on the call, you're on the phone, your schedule is just filled to the max because you don't have those types of interruptions and you're not on the road. So you schedule more accordingly, right?
And you're probably zoomed out.
Zoom, ain't that the truth? But I'll tell you that it did. It was quite different because you would think otherwise, that business would have slowed down for us, but it didn't because in our space, the medical space, I always, I say this all the time that the medical space is recession proof because people are always going to be sick, and at the end of the day, you look at what happened, right? This pandemic, something we had never in our lifetime would have ever believed would happen, right? I heard stories about it from my dad, right, back in the day, 1918, the Spanish flu, and then you say a world that's rich in technology that could something like this ever, occur again, and here it is, 2020. We had one of the worst pandemics, that hit us outside of the flu, which was the worst, right? And you shut down the world. You didn't shut down a country, you shut down the world. But we were blessed that, in my line of work, in my industry, people still needed us because we were essential to what they needed to do with medical, because we're in the medical record space, computer space, and consulting. So working in that environment, that was needed. So though we weren't front line, we tried to keep, those practices, those clinics, and those hospitals that we work with up and running to make sure that they were meeting the needs, the virtual needs, because the environment changed, and part of that was this virtual world where things were being sold out. Computers, laptops, webcams, all of those things were being ordered, and there's a shortage as there is today because of the pandemic. But I'm going to say blessed still that we were able to sustain and be part of something good out of something bad that hit this world.
Well, I think you look at it, and we've had plenty of talks over the last year about what's been going on. And I think that from what I've seen is you see people that more companies and more people have given back that normally wouldn't give back because of the pandemic. And I think that's what's helped. And I think that's really but then you have some nonprofits that are losing money because of funding. And the Hope Foundation's fortunate because it's a volunteer driven organization. But at the same time, we had to cancel two of our big fundraisers each year.
Right.
So, but we have a great board, we have a great volunteer structure, so we're able to do that. And I think it shows that everyone wants to get involved in some capacity.
Absolutely. And Tony, let me add to what you just said in that you realize some of these businesses that donated at one point in time may be out of business because they couldn't sustain it, right? And so they couldn't sustain the employees, couldn't sustain the nature of what took place, and they still, the domino effect is still being felt to this day. And so, the recovery is going to take it's going to take some time. It's going to take a while before that happens. And but you know what? We'll recover. We always do.
I
We'll find
I
ways
think,
in which to do so.
and I think I read a report that we may not feel the implications in the nonprofit sector probably for another year, once
Right.
depending on when we open up. So
Right.
so we'll have to see how everything pans out. But I think we have a good, at least in the Mahoning Valley, we have a great, strong Mahoning Valley nonprofit area. There are a lot of organizations that are helping each other. Second Harvest Food Bank, oh wow, autism. Well, there's cancer system. There's a lot that everyone is trying to do, and they've had events, and they're trying to do a variety of ways. So, and I think one thing that really shows is that yourself, you give back more than just what people may think. And I referenced something that got to be a part of probably at least 7 or 8 years ago, was to be a part of the Christmas extreme makeover, as I like to call it. You started something that has been going on for almost 31 years.
Yeah.
What? How did you come up with this, and how? What have you done?
Um, it actually started at a previous employer back in 1987, 88.
And then talk about what the program is, because I
Yeah.
forgot to ask
And
that.
and so it's not really a program to say that.
It's
So
Ray's program. I like to call it Ray's program.
no, it's not the Raise program. It's the Lord's program, and it's, I call it God's ink,
Good enough.
right? And so I'll fill in the blank. Back in 1988, right around there, um, the previous employer, we went and we took Christmas baskets to a family. I want to say out in Struthers somewhere. A grandmother who had two twin boys, and we took them some, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 bags for Christmas of groceries. There was no toys, no nothing. So we go in the house, and there's this tree there, and there's nothing underneath it. And then there's two twin boys, probably about 6 or 7, the cutest two twin boys. That if God would have allowed me to adopt those boys, I would have on the spot, right? And both parents were in jail. And those two boys looked, Tony, at us, and there was a smile on their face because there was no gifts. But I do believe they said to themselves that we're going to be able to eat on Christmas, and we're going to have a nice meal on Christmas. That's, you could just sense this from them. Those two little boys that, oh, yes, we're going to eat, and we're going to eat hearty. And I left there and I said, man, it touched me. And I went home and told my wife, Nancy, and I said, this one's impacting me. There's something here, something that's tugging on my heart, and we need to do something. And so we went to the store and bought some gifts for the kids, and some, bunch of items for the grandmother, just random things, things we thought they would want and need. Took them back to them, and the appreciation that we got from the grandmother and those two boys uh, set the stone, and set the Holy Spirit at that point in time said to me, "This is your calling, and this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life." 31, 32 years later, Tony, we're still doing it today. And what it is, when I first started at GBS, I had this network of friends, and it's just not GBS, because I want to make sure that I stress to understand GBS has been the central hub, and has afforded me the opportunity to be that central hub where everything comes together there. And I can't say thank you enough for my fellow employees over those last 32 years, because they're the most generous people I've ever met in my life, along with the network of people that have jumped on board to this program. So there's a gentleman by the name of Waylon Russell, used to own Rainbow Rentals, and good friend of mine. And it's funny because he, like a lot of my friends, is is one of the people who also contributes and helps and has helped throughout the years. The reason I'm picking him out is because what you said earlier, the Christmas Extreme Makeover, that's what he coined it. He coined it. He calls me and says, "Hey, Ray, are we doing that at Christmas Extreme Makeover this year?" And I said, I think that's what we're going to name it from this point forward. So it's been the Christmas Extreme Makeover, Family Makeover over the last 31 years. And we've done, and what we do is focus in the Valley. And we tried to get names. So we get names from either the churches, we've gotten names from Salvation Army, we've gotten names from the Beatitude House, we've gotten names from. So typically, the nonprofits, Tony, that work with the underprivileged in this area, right? And so and then there's been times where the Holy Spirit has led us, and we've seen articles like in the Youngstown Vindicator, one family in Austin town who lost their dad, had a heart attack, and forgive me, but I forget his name, but God bless him for what he did, but just it just anyway. I'm getting emotional because it ties to, it tugs on my heart of the things we've done for people. But I will say this, that we typically go to the family and say, okay, what's the need? What do you have? And we try to surprise them. In cases like, in most cases, we try to make sure that we fulfill everything that's on the list. And I'll tell you that's in 32 years, everything that the family has ever sent us on this, that was a list that they created, we've always been able to fulfill. And that is a true blessing if you see what we've been able to do for these families over the years. Now, I tried to equate this, but I would say in over the 32 years, we've probably, the value of what we've done is around anywhere from $180,000 to $200,000. Now, let me tell you something about that. It's not money we put away. It's not fundraising. It is at the spur. It's at the moment. It's at Christmas. And I reach out to this network, which is about 50 to 75 people now. Tony, I've never asked for anybody to give a penny, a dime. I just simply say, here's the family, here's the need, and that need gets fulfilled. And it's amazing when you see the Holy Spirit working through people. And it moves me because, again, people have said, why don't you start putting money away for next year? And I said, that's not what it is about. It's about the moment. It's about, what you're willing to do and what you can do and sacrifice at that given time to understand what the true meaning of Christmas is, right? And we've been able to do that through the years, and I've been blessed. I thank God for the volunteers and those who have put this together. I will add one more thing, which really moved and touched me in 2016. When Maria hit the island of Puerto Rico, and I got 50% of my family that are in Puerto Rico. Several of the people in my network came to me, and I said, okay, we're looking for a family. If anybody knows, let me know. And it was a consensus of people who sent me emails and said, Ray, why are you not even considering your family in Puerto Rico? Why would you not do that? And you know what? And it humbled me because, and at the end of the day, Tony, I'm sure you think the same way, in that you don't want to make it look like you're taking advantage of the circumstance. But I didn't look at it that way, and then people humbled me by telling me, you give and give and give and give. But at the end of the day, it's right in front of you, and you won't even look at it. And I'm going to tell you that humbled me to that point. And so within, this is how God works. Within 4 weeks, we raised over $16,000.
I remember that, and I think one thing shows is you've been such a great family man. You've been giving back to a variety of the families. I know it's funny you talk about that. I actually had a conversation with some of your daughters about you.
Oh boy.
And actually, on a second note, actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to bring them on.
Are you serious?
I'm just going to bring your daughters on.
Oh my!
And so
You're not driving, are you?
no, she's not driving.
Okay, she better not be driving.
I actually just parked my.
She just
I
parked
just
her
parked
car.
my car.
And
Wow.
so yeah, I told you I had surprises, and then Nancy's right over your left shoulder. She was in on it too. So
I see Veronica, but there's no.
she's there. Don't you worry. She's there. So Christina, I will leave it in your hands.
Be on screen.
Yeah, Christina, I'll leave it in your hands. It's all yours.
Can you hear me okay? Because I feel like it's a little choppy over here, but I'm
Go
traveling
ahead.
to work. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Go ahead, Christina.
Okay. Papi, I just obviously, I'll take charge, but your leadership, your just, everything that you have done to get to this point for your family and for everybody that you touch. We are just truly, truly blessed, and I am extremely, extremely grateful to be able to watch where you have where you have ended, but also where you're going to begin, because although this is an ending and retiring, and there's still so much more that I think that you can offer in different ways, and I'm just proud of you. And obviously, look, we're all working hard, and your leadership and you as a role model has taught us how to really develop and how to not just in the workforce, but as raising our families and being daughters and friends. And you've done that, and now you get to flourish and do more, and I'm excited for that. And I know Madi and Veronica are too, and I don't know if they want to have anything to say, but we're blessed, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to just share, just again, emphasizing how proud we are of you and all of your sacrifices throughout your entire career. You are the epitome of somebody who has literally believed in himself, never took no for an answer. Your faith has guided you in every step of the way and allowed you to impact so many lives, more than you'll ever know. Some that are continuously surprising you as you've gone on your nationwide tour to say goodbye to your customers and all your customers who've become like family. I mean, it's a testament to the man that you are, the man that we get to call our dad, the man that we get to call, the grandfather of our babies. And we are just so blessed to see this next chapter for you, to be a part of it, to spend more time with you. I mean, that's one thing I'm going to say. I mean, my dad worked his butt off, but he was always, always there for us whenever we needed him. It was a phone call away. It was a game away. He was there for practices. He napped in his car before our practices to make it to our games. He was the epitome of sacrificing for his family. And, to know that we get this uninterrupted time with him coming up in this next chapter is so exciting for all of us. And we are just so proud of you, and we love you. And thank you for everything you've done to get us to this point in our lives, because it's because of you and the sacrifices of mommy, of course. But, you are our rock, man. You definitely are the rock of this family, and we love you.
Thank you.
Veronica?
Big V.
So I have to follow all of that. That's a lot to follow. I mean, they truly said it all about you, Papi. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that I don't thank God for the parents that I have, for the support that I have.
Oh, we lost her.
She'll be back.
She'll be
back. But I thought this would be a nice little surprise for you for retirement.
Thanks, Tony.
I know I'm gonna get payback, so I'm not worried.
I promised myself I wasn't cry on this bit because I carry my emotions on my sleeve, but you ruined it.
Well,
She's
so
back.
back, Veronica, if you want to go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Technology is great when it works.
Exactly.
True.
You got Veronica. You have the final word.
I didn't hear anyone.
Well, I just wanted to say, I mean, I thank God every day for your constant support, your constant hard work to keep this family going. I mean, I would have to say I wouldn't be where I am today without you and your guidance and your support in all aspects of my life. I mean, especially education wise. I was blessed enough to be able to have a hardworking father support my education so that I wouldn't have to struggle after getting that degree to pay for those bills. So that right there is a testament of who you are and what you've done for us. And I'm truly blessed and thankful. And honestly, I'm excited to see what the next step is for you and where God will lead you next and what he's going to show you and you pick up and you just strive forward. So I'm excited to see what's next for you, that you can actually just enjoy yourself in the path that it's about you now. It's about you making yourself happy and just being with your wife and traveling and seeing your family. So I'm excited
Yes.
to be a part of that.
Sorry.
She's like, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I appreciate. I have. Oh, are you done? I'm sorry, Veronica.
no, you're good.
Okay.
I'm very proud of you and we're very blessed. So thank you.
Thank you, and Tony, in all sincerity, thank you, because these are my treasures. These three, and then this is the rock right behind me. This is my rock, and so I could not have done it. You know, I could not have done it without her, and obviously the Lord being in our marriage together. But here's so I'm gonna the emotional. I'm gonna kind of pull away from now because uh, all three of them, Tony, back in the day when we didn't have any marketing, right? We'd be sitting in the living room, and I would pay them a penny each to stuff an envelope and put labels. So so you're talking 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 mailers that we used to push out. And I would love to say that their work ethic was learned very young
Very much.
because they were, and so I
How
cannot
old were they,
attribute.
Ray? Come
What's
on. What
that?
are they? How
I don't
old
know,
were they?
maybe 6 months or something. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Just kidding.
Child
We had
labor
to print
laws
the
or
envelopes
something.
and everything.
But
Stuffing envelopes, putting labels on. We did it all.
my success was their success because they afforded me that opportunity, one, to be their dad. But they always knew that, I had to work. And so um, their support and my wife's support through those 34 years, I would have never done it without them. And so I'm blessed. I'm truly, truly, truly blessed. And if you said I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change one thing about what we went through together as a family. Not one, because it made us who we are today. The good, the bad, and I don't want to say bad because everything not bad, but you go through things in your life, but it's those things in life that made us stronger as a family and united as a family. And like I said, I wouldn't trade that for the world because this is why right here. You're seeing it live right here. This is what means everything to me in the world, and nothing else matters outside of my 5 grandchildren because I think they now take precedence
I was
over
going to
them.
say, I think
So
now that they're your
Well,
Nice try.
I will say this: the best comment I ever. It's a funny comment. There's several funny comments that we've all had, and the best one. Where's my dance floor?
Yeah. Sorry,
But
that's the Hispanic and all of
but you know what? It's all in fun, and we're you get you Ray, your family's great. They've always been good, and that's why I just kind of had to surprise you. And I thought
no,
this
you
was the
got me.
perfect timing. Yeah, because
You got
you'll
me.
see them later, but now you just, yeah. I know I have that effect on people. But girls, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Yes,
And
Tony.
you want to say one last word?
Well, before they say it, I'm just going to tell you, you mean the world to me. I love you guys, and there's nothing in the world that means more to me than you three. Nothing,
Thank
Listen,
you.
except for your mom.
we
Love
love you, and you know what we're gonna say. What's your last name?
That's right, Esparra.
What's your last name?
That's right, Esparra.
Now come swimming. See you next weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't wait. Can't
Love
wait to
you.
join.
Love you
Thank
guys.
you,
Be
thank you,
careful,
ladies.
Stina.
Thank
All
you.
right. Love
Love
you.
you, girls. Thank you, Tony.
You're very welcome.
Oh, this is going to get back to you. You have little ones coming, so just
Don't
wait.
you worry. Don't you worry. We'll be taken care of. I got Ray in my corner.
Yep. Right, thanks.
You're welcome, Ray. We talk a lot about family. I know I'm going to get payback, but
Wow.
we talk a lot about family. We talk about a lot of different things, like you just saw with your girls. You talk a lot about the Hope Foundation kind of being a family, like you said. Talk about what you've done that have really inspired you with the Hope Foundation, because you started a couple projects that you really are near and dear to your heart.
Well, I think the one that's near, well, the Hope Foundation itself, Tony, God bless you, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't be discussing this right now if it wasn't for you. And I know you as a person, one of the most humble people I know, but who will give the shirt off his back. And you've proven that over the years I've been on the board. And I'm going to thank you because you have opened my eyes to um, the possibilities of giving back to the community in different ways that I didn't conceive, and one of those is that our board is made up of people who truly genuinely want to serve this community, but serve the children in this community and the chronically ill kids, and you have to have a heart for that. And I want to thank you because I've soaked up what I've seen from you over the last how many years that we've been together now.
Six,
And
7 or 8 years, I can't remember. It's been a
and
while.
and and you know what, Tony, I'm sure your ears burn quite a bit because I talk to people about you, about what you've done, and they sit back and they're in awe of though we're small, but we serve as we're big, right?
Mhm.
And so the dream catchers, when you and I were having this conversation um, regarding the dream catchers, and similar to Make a Wish, but the coin dream catchers that you came up with, that to me hit home, which was um, isolating, narrowing down to one child, and make that family. It's similar to the extreme makeover, right? How can you impact this one family that they know that we're here for them? And the dream catchers is that, and so is the Hope Foundation. I'm proud to serve on the Hope Foundation, and its tentacles have reached a lot of people. And I just hope after this pandemic, Tony, that we can get back to doing great things as we were doing, because this valley needs it, and there's a lot of children in this valley that need our help. And again, I want to thank you because you've mentored a lot of people, and one of those is me.
I appreciate that. And the Dream Catchers program is the child needs something. It's strictly for the Mahoning Valley only. A kid that wants to do something in their dreams. I mean, and that's what it's called, Dream Catchers for Kids.
You know
So
what? I'm gonna hopefully we can talk about it, but I'll leave it nameless at this point in time. But if we can talk about the recent one, is that okay? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I'll leave the name out, but the one thing that people don't understand is, so you have we have Make a Wish, but the dream catchers, what I found so moving and emotional was that this family, is going through, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about the family in general, but to say the least, there's some disabilities within the family, right? 5 of the children. And at the end of the day, the only thing that mom asked for, it wasn't to meet a movie star, a professional athlete, or go to Disney World. She asked for a swing. So her child who has autism can swing with all of her other brothers and sisters. And that just moved me because you could have asked for anything, right? And at the end of the day, what do you want? Is you want to be able to have your child swing and enjoy what her other children do and are able to do as a family. And that's what the dream catchers is why we came up with the dream catchers, right? Is to be able to grant that wish, to be able to grant that moment in time for that family that they can embrace and realize that, once again, that there's people out there who really care, and we
Right.
can fulfill that. We can fulfill that wish. And so, happy to say that we're quite
In the
soon we'll be
process,
able to
yeah, in the
process
process
of
of
getting that
finishing this
swing
up.
up and installed for the family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of our traditions is to help kids in our community. I mean, that's what we're all about. We may be small, but like you said, we're mighty.
Yes.
But we talk about kind of like I think another program, and I don't want to go into this, but the program that I think you love is the Build a Bear program. That the foundation, the Dream Catchers, it's part of the program as as an arm of it. Talk a little bit about what came of that, what kind of how that all started.
Well, that was when we talk, you and I again. You and I always come up with these ideas when we're just sitting there, you know, BS and but it's good BS because of that. These great things come out of it, and so we, I remember, was it 3 years ago, Tony? We did our first one, and you and I are talking. I said, "Hey, Tony, how can we impact somebody during the holidays quickly? I mean, just do something." And you and I talked about it and said, "Well, I called you back and I said, I got something popped in my head. What about a Build-A-Bear? What if we can put a program on an iPad, go to the hospital for these kids and let them pick their bear, no different than a normal kid who can go into the mall and create that bear, right?" And let me tell you something, the minute that idea was born, you took it, started to run with it. And I said, what about an app? I'll take care of it, Ray. I got the app. You take care of the rest. And so we reached out to Build a Bear, obviously, in locally. And I want to say her name is Christine at Build a Bear. She's the manager there. The minute I mentioned it to her, she goes, I don't care what I do. I'll move heaven and earth to get this done for you guys. You let me know when, what time, and I'll have my crew ready. Right. And then you took it, Tony, and we, was it, I want to say Carolyn, correct? Carolyn?
I can't remember. It's been the sad part is we haven't done this in almost I think 2 years,
Well, we
and
created that app. And,
yep.
and it was the coolest thing that you could literally take the iPad and then we watched the dentist, HIPAA.
Yep.
And the kid was able to actually pick their own Build a Bear, to select a bear, and just by clicking on the iPad, and automatically that launched over to Build a Bear, to an iPad over at Build a Bear that was waiting to receive the request. And I
Yeah,
believe
we had it. We had it. They had it in less than 2 or 3 hours, and I think that was a great program. I think that that's a unique program that no one else does. We have the app to do it. We have the software to do it, and I think that's one thing that we have that we can really use in a bigger down the road. And we look at these programs, no matter if it's Build-A-Bear, Dream Catchers, or Christmas Makeover. And it kind of shows at the end of the day how giving you are. And that's why I wanted to kind of give back with your daughters, because you are retiring and you will be retired here shortly. And but I have learned that people that are retired work more when they're retired than they do when they were uh, actually working. And I can see you're trying to not say anything, because I will take that as a yes, because I think you have plenty of plans and I have plenty of plans for you. We'll just leave it at that. Um, we talk about those programs, but what is in store for Rey? I mean, we talk about, the future and what it may hold. Your daughters are talking about the future and spending time. What what is the future of Rey after you retire?
You know what? It's funny because I'm going to joke about it because I was asked that question. I've been asked that question 1,000 times already.
And you,
And so they said, "What's the first thing you're going to do when you retire?" And I said, "Nothing." "No, really. What are you going to do when you retire?" And I go, "Nothing. I just want to relax." So I want. And then a good friend of mine who retired as well, Jeff Fusco. Jeff Fusco went through. Uh, if you ever want to read, look it up on YouTube and on Vindi. Jeff Fusco is a walking miracle, and I am blessed to know him. He had COVID in the hospital for 21 days, or on a ventilator 21 days, I think 50 or 60 days, was given 60 units of blood and was told, you know, he wasn't going to make it. And I won't ruin the story here, but this is one of those miracles. And he is here today, and he retired from GBS after 37 years. And I do believe all things happen for a reason, because he's now nationally is on radio, TV shows, and has been communicating with people nationally who have turned to him because of his faith. And anyway, the reason I bring that into the mix, I told Jeff the first thing we're going to do is when I retire,
oh
I'm going to
boy,
pick him up. We're going to go to McDonald's and get our 55-cent coffee, if it's still 55-cent, senior coffee, get a bagel, and then take a picture and make sure that we have other senior guys behind us in the picture, and send it back to all the employees at GBS and say, "This is what retirement looks like."
I
So
could hear I can hear some booze in the background of
that's
that.
that's the humor side. The seriousness of the question. My dad is 93 years old. My mom is 85 years old, and I am blessed to have them. I know many of my friends and relatives who have lost their parents, and I cherish mine. And I've been kind of jealous of my siblings, because my siblings have been there for my mom and dad, and because of work, I haven't been able to do it. So I want to be able to spend some time with my mom and dad and give back. Time is money, Tony, right? And if I'm going to invest time, I want to invest time in my family, because I am not going to get that time back. So if time is money, I'm going to take all my money, which is all the time I have, and invest it with my family. And I'm going to start with my mom and dad. My wife is a given. We're going to travel and do some things. And then third is my grandbabies. I want to be able to spend time and give back to them and do things with my family that I've not been able to do. All those things will come together, because I know that I'm still going to be doing community work, nonprofit work, because it's innate. It's built in our DNA through my parents. And so to say I'm not going to be doing anything or nothing, at the end of the day, it's a wishful thinking for me. After 34 years, you say, okay, I'm going to lay low for about a week or two, and,
A week.
and then it'll start back up again. And so, obviously, like you said, there's some things some unfinished business. I think I have some unfinished business with the Memby Memorial Cancer Fund, which is my sister's fund that she passed away of cancer in 2007. And we established a fund where we give monies to families who are battling cancer to help defray some of the cost of just going across town. You can't even get, you don't even have enough money to get your loved one across town, yet alone go to Cleveland or go to Chicago like my sister. And all things happen for a reason. My sister was called home, but at the end of the day, her legacy carries through this foundation. And so I want to be able to get, start to build that up and so that we can start offering and giving more checks and more money out to those, because it is a great need and cancer is not going anywhere. And we hope that maybe one day there is a cure for cancer. And I pray that that happens. But in the meantime, hopefully we can impact and help families do that. So uh, I think I'm going to be very, like you said, I'm going to be very busy in the next coming years, but it's going to be work that I think I'm truly going to enjoy. And it's right down my alley. So uh, looking forward to it.
I appreciate Ray. I appreciate your time, and
Thank
I
you,
hope you
Tony.
enjoyed this.
I will get you back one day. It'll take me a while. This one was good, but one day I am going to take. I'll get back. I'll
Well,
get
now,
that in.
yeah, okay, you'll get. That's fine. No problem. No problem. Well, now at the end of each show, I like to have some fun with my guests. Are you up for a little fun now? These are the questions that are the easier ones.
Okay.
So the answer can be personal or professional, your choice. There's really no right or wrong answer. Okay? Ready?
If you're ready,
Best accomplishment.
my family.
Okay. Okay. Best memory. Harder than the other ones, huh?
My family.
Okay. Okay. Best yeah, best experience.
Um, okay. Funny. Playing senior softball. You're gonna okay. So I know you wanted humor and so, but this was legit. Bottom of the seventh, bases loaded. Um, and I come to the plate, and one of the guys said to me, "Get on base, and I'll drive all you guys in." I said, "Don't worry about it. I got this." So I hit a grand slam in that game to to, to get us into the playoff. We won the championship. But the funny thing is, my wife and my mom were there. So I go over and I'm smiling, and she looks at me and she says, "Did you win?" I said, "Wait a minute. You didn't see what just happened?" She goes, "No." So you didn't see me hit the grand slam. We won the game. Everybody's high fiving. She goes, "No, I was talking to your mom." So that ranks as one of the best experiences.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that had to be that had is it
There's
how
others,
long?
but
Well, is there video of this?
uh, there's there's a lot of witnesses to it.
Okay. Who's your role model?
My dad, my dad, and my brother. Um, they're the cornerstones of the man I am today because um, wouldn't be the man I am without those you know those two.
Okay. And then the last one. If you could meet one person, past or present, who would it be and why?
It'd be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to be in His
Okay.
presence, and because if you look at the past, the people didn't realize what was walking in front of them. Eternal, right? The eternal gift of life from our Lord and Savior, and to be in that presence and to understand, knowing who I am today, because our faith is you believe, though you haven't seen, um, um, we believe, right, in our faith. But those people who were there, what a blessing that they were able to see and witness this man. So if I had to say, okay, and I know one day I'm going to meet him when the time, when that time comes. But if you ask me today, past or present, when if I could go back and meet somebody, that'd be the person I'd want to meet.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that answer at all.
Yeah.
Ray, it's always a pleasure.
Always. Thank you, Tony.
Not a problem.
You moved me, man. You moved me. You caught me. Thank you.
Oh, I try. Ray, stay on. Everyone, hopefully you enjoyed our great conversation, just having a little bit of fun and talking about Ray's experience about in the community. We hope you volunteer in the community to an organization that you feel dear and near your heart. If you want any more announcements, podcasts, or interviews, please go to anthonyvspano.com. Everyone, stay safe and God bless. Good night.